Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Evan,
And this is the Wine Stuff and Wine Podcast.
where we showcase wine, food, and what it is to live the Niagara-On-The-Lake lifestyle.
And it starts now. Niagara-on-the-Lake, one of the reasons why I moved here. One of the reasons why, you decided to move a lot of your business here is because there's such a pride for community in this town that we think that should be reciprocated. Is that how I say it? Reciprocated?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think interviewing local businesses, especially, and not just because of the challenges that we've all been facing over the last year and a half, but also just to showcase those that are dedicated to the community as much as us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think, for a town that's one of the most sought after places to live in the country, I don't think it gets enough press. There isn't. You go online and you try and look up a video. What's Niagara-on-the-Lake? There really isn't much.
Well, there is, but it's always it's the best place to live. It's the safest place to live. It's a great place for seniors. But it's more than that. It's much more than that. There's trendy restaurants. There's no big box stores here.
No.
There is a McDonald's, right? But even that had to adhere to a certain build form because there's no signs, there's no billboards, there's no bus bench advertisements. That has all been restricted, and it's all independently owned. I mean, there's a few big conglomerates here as well, but the majority of the businesses are independently owned and operated, trendy restaurants,
Absolutely.
Grist, the Garrison House, Silks, what a staple that is, for no frills type of diner. It's one of the best in town.
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't get enough press. The wineries, of course, everybody knows that we are in wine country, right? The Napa Valley of Canada, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? That's why I love where this is going, because I think featuring up-and-coming wineries like Paradiso, giving those businesses that just opened like Budapest Bake Shop a little bit more of a voice. Especially into tourism. Now that tourism's back on, let's start sending them people.
Yeah, it's not only that. We have such a thriving community here of entrepreneurs that are so focused on the farm to table, supporting local business. Raffinos, for example, everything that they have there is all comes from their own personal little farm. They live on their farm and they're growing all their own vegetables. They've got chickens and pigs and you name it, they're doing. It's unbelievable.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when you go there, everybody that goes to Ruffino's knows this food's great. But to think that you could literally drive around the corner to their little farm and see where it's all produced. These people aren't just, in the kitchen and then they go home and, watch TV and go to bed, right? They don't buy their groceries, from traditional restaurants would. Like a restaurant in Toronto, sure, they source out local food and stuff like that. But you're not getting it. You don't drive around the corner and spend the night on your farm, trying to make sure there isn't a fox getting into the chicken coop. You know? And so these are the stories that we hear in this community that I love. That's why I love it here so much, because you go out for dinner and the food's on another level, the wine's on another level. The evolution of Niagara-on-the-Lake over the last 10, 20 years is insane. And there's so much behind it. Right?
I've never seen a town with so many custom or independently owned pizza shops.
Yeah.
You can get pizza at virtually any restaurant in Niagara-on-the-Lake, but it's all different. The Old Winery has amazing pizza. Sandtrap has amazing pub pizza. And then you got Bricks and Barley that has the wood oven pizza. Wood oven? Stone oven? Wood stone oven? Anyways, it is great. So I think, and you brought up, when people want to spend a night here. And that's another thing, is that we have those Airbnbs, vacation rentals. We have B&Bs. Actually, a funny story. For my, last year? Yeah, for my birthday. No, it was 2 years ago now. My birthday, Gabe asked me, she said, Andrew, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I said, let me think about it. I want to spend the night in my hometown rent a B&B and hit the strip. That's what I did for my birthday.
Yeah.
I rented, or well, she did. She got us a room at a B&B 2 minutes away from my house, and we just spent it basically restaurant hopping. You know, we went to the Old Angel Inn, then we went to the Harp, and then we woke up in the morning and we went to the Stagecoach for breakfast. You see, so I don't think there's anybody out there who loves this town more than me. Maybe you, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's some competition out there.
There is, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? And then that brings us kind of where we're at now with launching the podcast, as well as, you know, kind of launching our business as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You want to kind of talk about the process of maybe choosing the location of our office. Now, obviously, we don't want these episodes to be about us, but
Yeah.
since it's you and I here, why don't we just do an introduction for, you know, who we are and, you know, kind of why you chose this space here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do so much business in Niagara-On-The-Lake. We love it here, and it's funny because I moved here in 2000 to go to Brock University.
Yeah.
I was competing on the national team and training for the Olympics, and so my focus was like Brock has a great program, and I was wrestling, but they have a great wrestling program, and one of 3 places basically in the country that you would go to compete in wrestling if you wanted to be on the Olympic team.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up here.
Yeah.
And like as a national team athlete, first of all, you're broke. Like that's like number one. You want to compete at the Olympics. I hope you're okay with crackers and water because you're not making any money competing on the Canadian national team. So being broke in Niagara-on-the-Lake, like they don't really sink that well. So we would drive out here occasionally. I'd be at Brock, but at the time, you jump in a car,
Yeah.
When you're that age and it's like, well, I got a quarter tank of gas. How far can I get? Right. So we shoot out to Niagara-on-the-Lake and watch the sunset, and kind of dream about being
that's
involved
amazing.
in a community like that. Right. Like this was always like a dream of mine. Right,
Yeah.
like that's like when you're a kid and you have a poster on your wall of a Lamborghini or something like that. Like
Yes.
like these are like
Yeah.
and Niagara-on-the-Lake is that for
Yeah.
the Niagara region and for a lot of people in this country. It's this place where people come and visit and they're like, wow, like I would love to live there, to live that life every day. And so that was for me. That was the drive to get out here. It was just It's such an incredible community. And so when we our businesses are growing. Real estate's doing well, whether it's obviously we do development, we're building new houses, we have our property management division, and then the real estate sales side of things, which we absolutely love because that's all personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just dealing with people, and it's just so amazing the process of buying and selling real estate in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Yeah. It's
Because
a different breed.
100% it is.
Yeah.
Everywhere else where we buy and sell, and it's great. Like we still buy and sell all over the Niagara region. I love the Niagara region for all of its different pockets.
Course.
But everywhere we buy, like for the most part, we see it every day. It's like, okay, so I'm looking for my first home. It's my starter home. And so we're looking to buy something for a client that will springboard them into their second home and their third home. And then eventually, their dream home, right? There's always a process. And you meet with people and it's like, okay, well, I'm looking to retire soon. And so I need to sell my house and downsize and so on. Every single person that we meet to buy a house in Niagara-on-the-Lake, they're buying their dream home.
Yes.
Like nobody ever under any circumstance, not one time has said to me, we're looking to buy in Niagara-on-the-Lake and it's a stepping stone for us.
Yeah. Right.
This is
most
my first,
people's end game.
Yeah, like people are like, it's my dream. I visited here and I've just always wanted to own a home here. I love the idea of waking up in Niagara-on-the-Lake and walking, through Old Town and grabbing a coffee, and you look at just how personal everybody is so nice in this town. It's just even like when you want fresh eggs, like you can go to farm stands.
Yes.
In this town, where you can get your eggs in the morning, and you literally drop your money into a little piggy bank on the side of it.
Yeah,
it's like
people trust you.
It's the honor system.
You just leave it.
Like that on its own. Where in the world do you have a box of money beside goods on the side of the road? On the honor system.
Other than 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but I like where you're going with this, and there's a consistent theme, and not to make this rhyme, but it's dream.
Yeah.
It's dream, because my story is very, very similar. Obviously, I wasn't training for the Olympics, but you know what I mean? I had the same kind of vision for the future of my life. So when I moved down to Niagara and I was here to open up my own club for LA Fitness, I was the GM there. And Niagara Falls was the place where I went to. St. Catharines actually where we ended up renting. And then I didn't even know about Niagara-on-the-Lake, by the way. So when you talk about it doesn't get enough press, I actually did not know about it. And so when I went there for my first time, we knew right away that, okay, this place is very special. And I envisioned myself just here, living here, operating a business. And then when I got my real estate license, I told everybody I met that I wanted to sell almost exclusively, if I could, in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And I want to live here and I want to be a part of the community. I just felt it. And everybody thought I was nuts for somebody who's young in the business to make that their goal, because selling in the upper tier and selling people's dreams takes experience, marketability, networking. You have to have good contacts. It's almost like a who do you know kind of business down here. And that's why, everybody was like, maybe you should start small, Perry. And if y'all know me, I don't do small. That's not what I do. That's not what you do. And it was always that dream. And, within my first year in real estate, I was able to purchase a property out on lake shores of farmland. And that was it for me. That secured what I wanted to do. And then, so I guess the only person that I know of who bought Niagara-on-the-Lake as a stepping stone was me. And then I kept moving up and moving up. And now it's where you said you could go to the market. I'm 2-minute walk from the Garrison Market. Every Saturday we go, people got their vans backed up to the parking lot, doors open, and you could get fresh salad that somebody just picked from their farm and brought it right out there. And then, what I think is so important is that what people I think are starting to understand is that Niagara-on-the-Lake is not what it used to be. It's growing, it's evolving, the community's evolving, and it's not necessarily a place where people go to retire anymore. Mm-hmm. Within the last 12 months, where previously all my clients were probably at the average age between 60 and 65. Now I've seen that number cut in half. We're having executives, younger family. I moved to a street where I thought I was going to be the youngest person. 2 doors down, 4 kids under 10. Right next door, 1 kid under 3. And then 2 doors down, 2 kids under 14. So it's very, very interesting. And now my clients, people are coming from Toronto, Oakville, Burlington. People are leveling up that grew up in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And the lifestyle is changing to reflect affluent families, those who want to invest back into the community. So I think what you mentioned about having that dream and selling people's dream home, you're also selling their dream lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, Niagara-on-the-Lake is all about lifestyle, without a doubt. And we could talk for hours about everything that's offered in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
But we've got more episodes to do.
Yeah, because it's funny because of COVID. I think we've almost forgotten about like the Shaw Festival, right? Oh, shoot, and it's like, the just like the cultural aspect of it and how amazing it is to go to like a live play, and there's always a show to go to. And I really fell in love with the Shaw Festival a couple years ago, and then obviously COVID basically put an end to it. But just like it's just so fun to go to go to something live, and there are these intimate theaters where like you can
it's very old school.
Yeah, like you can really like literally almost reach out and touch the show, right? So
and what are the guys that come in and rip your ticket? Like it's so old school. It's like the 1950s. Like, oh, thank you, welcome to the show. Here's your seats, 3rd row up from the center. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
It's so cool that they still provide these. Like a nuanced approach to how they used to do things. Yeah. And you just don't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah, it's like nothing else. There's very
Yeah.
few places that you're going to go to and find like this mix, right? You've got
The white part.
the fine dining, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the wineries, which you know what, like some people say like, oh, that's like such an expensive thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Like really,
I think
come and-
$5 for a tasting.
Come and do
You
a
try
wine
4
tour.
wines,
Like,
yeah.
you for less than $50, you could hit
Yeah.
5 wineries in a day, and you know. Try wine at every different one and get to see what each one does differently and the story behind each one, and most of them are like a local family
Exactly.
living their dream.
Estates, yeah. And well, that's what I love, is that each winery provides a different experience. You could go to Jackson Triggs and catch the Sheepdogs. They've played here multiple times.
Yeah.
You could go to Two Sisters, who has a phenomenal restaurant. I mean, the food is fantastic.
Yep.
You can go to Ravine, that has one of the best atmospheres I've seen in an estate winery.
Yeah.
And then you can go to smaller family estate wineries like Paradiso, that the owner and winemaker is the one walking you through the property, doing the tastings. They've got little setups all across. One's in the forest. You know what I mean? It's like, where else can you find that type of variety inside one little town? Like, every winery does something different.
Yeah.
And that's why those tours are so successful, is because it's not because people want to go and sample different wine. Of course, that's a little bit, but they want to have a different experience. And I think that's what those tours do. And I think, we should go on one.
We're gonna have to. For
Like,
sure.
I've been on a few, but like, we should go on
Yeah.
one. Maybe take a couple of cameras with us and
Yeah,
set
let's
up
do it.
shop. I think that would be
We'll
cool.
do a podcast on tour.
Well, you know how they do like goat yoga in the field or
Yeah.
yoga in the vineyard? We'll have a podcast in the vineyard.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
We'll have to do that
I'm
for
super
sure.
excited about
Yeah.
that. Now, so how important was it for you? We kind of touched on it, but how important is it to have an office here from a real estate perspective?
Yeah, it's huge. And real estate is obviously so personal. And we meet a lot of people at their house, or we'll meet at a restaurant or at a coffee shop. And so you almost could do it without an office, right? Like a lot
could.
there's a lot of realtors that do that. They basically they make their home their office.
Yep.
And then they just meet their clients kind of all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I thought, and for, we're both on the same page here, but for me, like, it was that, it was very, very important with this community being the way that it is, to have, bricks and mortar in it, right?
Yeah.
It was very important that, I bought a property in the heart of Niagara-on-the-Lake. We're right across the street from City Hall. Just wanted to be a part of the community, wanted to be right here in the mix. And, that way you're truly, you're involved in everything, right? Like, we're putting a float in the Christmas parade. I own, obviously, several B&Bs in the area, and we're building custom homes on the water right around the corner from here. So already I'm entrenched in it, but it was just essential. I had to have an office here in town. And people expect that too. When you're in this community, people want to see that, right? They want to see that you're in here. Like, the other people that we talk about, like, just talk briefly about Rufino's, like, do you think that of course they want to these are nice people that'll do business with anybody, but they know what it takes to be successful in their business. Their heart and soul is in it. They invested in property in Niagara-on-the-Lake. They invested in, their restaurant in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and the growth of Niagara-on-the-Lake in what it is today. It's people like that have built Niagara-on-the-Lake into what it is today.
Of course.
It was the same style entrepreneur from 50 years ago that started this, right? So they've just carried the torch.
Right.
And so although our business is, the buying and selling and building in real estate, we're no different.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want to be part of this community, right in the mix, right in the hub, and give back too, right? So that's our primary focus when we started this podcast was how can we get Niagara-on-the-Lake on the map for what it is and truly give it what it deserves, and then get it back on track from where it was coming out of COVID to try and help build this thing, right?
And
So
provide these local businesses just a little bit of a higher platform.
Yeah. But,
And I like how when I asked a question about professionalism in business, you answered it by community, and that's how your view is, and I love that, and that's what it's all about. It's a good representation of, again, what you said, how we want this podcast to go. But if I could just speak even from a professional standpoint, where for me, I think it's important when you're selling the dream, selling the lifestyle, it's important to have a level of professionalism and quality. Absolutely. In terms of your service. And this is not to put down any other business, of course. This is just how we do things. We like when people come in, they can say hi to Andrea at the front desk. And Andrea can say, hey, what can I get you? A latte, cappuccino, what can I get you? Anything you'd like, we'll get it for you. Oh, wow, that blows me away. Thank you very much. I'll take a cappuccino, no foam. And, people get into it. They really do. Remember, you had a client pop in and we had just shut down the machine. And he wasn't happy. He's like, what do you mean you're shutting down the machine? I'm here. I want my cappuccino. But it's about inviting people into the space. They get to see the level of sweat equity and quality that you put into the building itself, so that when they walk through, they see, your desk, my desk, they see Angle Law, they see, Carey and Mortgage Architects, they see the full service, everything house, level development. You could come in here just for a coffee, or you could come in here looking to build your own custom home on the water.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, Niagara-On-The-Lake represents, is that it's just that next level in service that you expect when buying your dream home.
Yeah, absolutely. And
selling your dream home.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things I would say, like, to touch on that is we've been extremely fortunate. Yeah. Extremely fortunate. Like, first of all, we're born in probably the best country in the world to live in.
Totally.
You're already basically considered rich just because you live in Canada. When you look at the rest of the world and the state that they're in, and places like Cuba and like where they're at right now, like you're just fortunate to live here, right? And then on top of that, we've been successful here, right? So we're like in a different stage now with our business where our primary focus isn't money anymore. It hasn't been for years.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Like we just don't do things we don't love anymore.
Yeah, I love it.
Because there isn't
Life's
enough time.
Short.
Life is way too short. And our primary focus right now, and has been for pushing, like we shifted gears pretty close to 5 years ago, where our goal had nothing to do with money.
Right.
It was a complete shift. Our focus is to do what we love to do. We're going to do projects that we're going to enjoy with customers and clients that enjoy us and our services.
Yeah.
And we are extremely competitive in everything we do. I think I'm the best at everything that I ever get into. And if I'm not, then I work my ass off to be the best.
Exactly.
And that's, I really haven't been the best at anything I've ever done in my life. I'm just the guy who's putting in more hours than the other guy. Yeah. Right? That's been my secret. But
and consistent improvement.
Yeah.
Like Sam said the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do this because we love it. And so this office was built so that, yes, we're professional. And yes, we're going to provide this service, and we're going to be the best at it. Yeah. Like, hands down. I have no doubt that we're going to take the lion's share of this market. Mm-hmm. No doubt. It's not that it's my goal to do that. It's just I know that we're going to work harder and be more dedicated to doing this right. Yeah. And the result is always good. Yeah. Right? So with our development side of things, we're building custom homes in the $3 to $5 million range, and our goal is literally to build people's dreams, right? Yeah. And I get a lot of flack from some people, where especially when we're posting videos and stuff of these houses, where it's like you get that split of people that are like, oh wow, that's amazing, I love that, that's so cool, that's my dream home, and then you get the other people that are like, oh, what a shame, shouldn't, like, you could give that money to charity, or you know what I mean, like, and
they don't realize that where that money goes is putting food on your employees' tables.
Well, yeah, like, right? It's everybody that works for our company, like, is making a good wage, but also it's all relative, right? Mm-hmm. Like, most of our clients have committed, $30,000, 30 to 40 years of their life to this end goal.
Yeah.
Right? They've made a trade. They've traded a big chunk of their life to have this lifestyle, right? And so there's a lot of people that the haters out there that are saying that, like, it's too much, it's too nice. Like, there's places in the States that are selling for 50, 60 million. I saw a video for a $300 million house the other day. Like, we're not even close to that level of, you know what I mean? But this is a business where it's about passion, it's about lifestyle, and it's about priorities. People have made this a priority, that they want this lifestyle, and they worked hard for it. Yeah. Right?
They deserve it.
And even me, myself, like, I knew when I was 20 years old, broke kid at Brock University, paying for my education, trying to qualify for the Olympic team. I knew that. I'm like, that's what I want. I want that lifestyle, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. I didn't really fully understand it, but I looked at it, and we'd come and visit, and I was just like, man, there's something about this town, and I worked hard for it. I'm fortunate that I did it in about 15 years. Right. Where some people it takes a lot longer. But in 15 years, I managed to get, we grew in our business, and we made our way up, and we're I'd say living the dream now out here in Niagara-On-The-Lake, and this office is a representation of it.
I agree. And you know what? Exactly what you said. People work too damn hard at a life that is too damn short. And, to worry about, I'm not saying that, we shouldn't try to give back as much as we can, because we do. That's what it's all about. We're investing back into the community. We have volunteers. Half the people on my team volunteer at local organizations, in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And it's important, to be involved on that type of a level, but it's also important to understand and appreciate those who have worked their butt off their entire life and want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, so to speak. So, you know what? I think this is a good spot to kind of wrap up the first episode. And I think that, moving forward, you're going to see a guest that we're going to feature, local business owner, basically anybody who we feel needs that extra almost platform to help get their business or voice out there.
And not even that, it's not even that we want to help people get, I want to be part of the community and part of spurring on
good point.
The transition out of this nightmare of COVID, right? How do we come out of this?
Let's get back together.
Let's get out of here. Let's do it. Let's get strong again, right? And let's enjoy, because this environment is a representation of truly enjoying the fruits of your labor. Right? And I think the wine is a perfect metaphor of it. The hard work that goes into the what it takes to sit down and have a glass of wine, right? There's a dirty long road to that fine bottle of wine you're drinking. Basically, we're going to showcase local talent, people in the community that are doing some cool stuff that people need to get down here and check out, right? So I think we're doing this every 2 weeks, right? We're going to do an episode every 2 weeks. And just really showcase what is Niagara-on-the-Lake.
And I think, just not only are we going to invite them here, because I would love that. This is a great location to sit and have a glass of wine, especially with all the wine behind us. But you know what? Just thinking out loud through our conversations, how great would it be to take podcast live on location? Right? So super excited about that. Everybody who's tuning in and listen to the end, we really appreciate it. We plan on having these podcasts available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcast is where you're going to be able to hear us. Thank you.
Beautiful.